Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
On a rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Let's just go ahead and talk about John Hughes.
Yeah.
Soundtrack. John Hughes' sense of humor is phenomenal.
So good. Nothing to be proud of, Russ. 50 yards. Just makes that switch.
Gee, Dad, you must have jumped this thing about 50 yards.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty. 50 yards.
John Hughes repeats actors. You've got John Candy, who's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Molly Ringwald's in a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Michael Hall is in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
The Ferris Bueller house was a real house, and I have been to it.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at the address, went there, saw the house, and I was like, oh my God, dude.
That's awesome.
I think the paint job is different now. Like maybe the shutters are different color, but
Sure. That's a good one.
life moves pretty fast.
You don't stop.
If you don't stop and look
once in a
around
while,
every once in a while,
you could miss it.
you could miss it. Welcome, everyone, back to the Twerk Ethics Show.
Back to life. Back to reality.
I'm JT, and this guy over here
Say it.
is Kool-Aid.
Say it loud. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
What's up, dog?
I'll tell you what's up. We've got another thing to sort of announce.
Oh, okay.
And be proud of ourselves about.
Tell it.
We, the Twerk Ethics Show, we're officially part of the YouTube Partner Program.
We did it.
We are YouTube partners.
Woo!
Woo! It's probably,
See the pennies come in, bruh.
yeah, you should, if you want to know more, probably just Google it. But
Yeah.
this is the, you have to be a YouTube partner to get paid. And so this is one of the steps of getting paid. And we
2.5 years.
2.5 years have been doing this. So thank y'all, because it's like literally impossible without y'all. So,
Literally. Yeah, for sure.
so we're happy. We're stoked.
Yes.
And we have a lot of big things planned now.
Yep.
This is just fun.
All thanks to y'all. Sincere thank you.
Yeah.
For sure. This is very, very cool. I'm all giddy now.
You should be giddy.
Yeah. I mean, I was giddy before. But this is kind of like a different level giddy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, capitalized giddy. Something.
Capitalize giddy.
Yeah. Like all the letters are capitalized.
Giddy!
And giddy. Giddy!
Gettysburg Address.
Giddy
All right.
on up here. Giddy on up.
Giddy up, boy! If you
Oh, man.
are just joining the Twerk Ethics Show,
Where you been?
where you been? But, you're at the right place.
We're glad you're here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twerk
I don't care
Ethic
where you been.
is all about being, the world is very divisive. It
Mm-hmm.
can be a little
It's also flat.
polarized. No, it's not.
No.
But it's people like
It's not
that
flat.
that make it polarized.
Right.
And we, we're giving you a break from that. We're warm,
Yep.
pure,
Mm-hmm.
and we react to fart videos. We do
Yep.
a weekly podcast where we talk about our favorite things,
Mm-hmm.
mostly pop culture,
Yep.
and
And farts.
farts. Today, for example, we're ranking the top John Hughes films. What?
I thought you were going to say ranking the top farts.
Top farts of all time.
Yeah. We got the Tokyo Sand Blaster. It's a good one.
I think my number 2 was in 1994.
Yeah.
September. Never forget
At number
it.
2, we're going to go with number 2.
Yeah. Exactly. But we're glad you're here. We
Yes.
we like to have a good time.
Mhm.
You're never going to feel we don't do controversial.
No.
This is a fun place to be.
The world is filled with controversy, and it doesn't need to be in our world.
Yeah. Welcome to Twerk Ethic.
Yes.
So, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and talk about John Hughes.
Yeah.
So, John Hughes happens to be my favorite director.
Nice.
And, you know, the videos that we're ranking, it can be movies that he directed or he wrote
Yeah.
or produced. Just
A big part,
broad
basically.
stroke, you know,
Yeah.
John Hughes movie.
Yep.
But, you know, why? I think that's what I wanted to talk about. So
Okay.
why do I like John Hughes movies and why do you like John Hughes movies?
Mm-hmm.
For me, John Hughes, every movie that I see has a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the same kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's very relatable. Like
Yeah.
the characters have
sure.
weaknesses
Yep.
that they overcome throughout
Have
the movie.
flaws.
They have flaws.
Mm-hmm.
His teenage movies are like, even movies that aren't teenagers, he really gives the stage to teenage, like what a teenager's going through,
Yeah.
what a teenager's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Young people, all over the broad spectrum, basically,
Yeah.
because obviously they're for adults too. Because I still enjoy them,
Yeah.
even though most of them were made when I was a kid or a teenager.
Yeah.
So, and that those movies just stick with me.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why he's your favorite.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
And the guy just lived and breathed movies.
Yeah.
So,
And I would say
and it's evident.
the majority of his catalog was the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And I love the 80s. I love the way that the 80s movies make me feel. In
Yep.
fact, when I think of 80s movies, I think of his movies.
Sure. Me too.
Now, he does have some in the early 90s, which is still kind of a 80s vibe.
Yeah.
You know, 90s
yeah.
vibe didn't kick off right at the beginning.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of why I like John Hughes. Am I missing anything?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, he was a great writer. Lost him too soon.
yeah.
2009, I believe.
Yeah.
That's when he died. Do you remember what he died of?
I don't.
Oh,
Would have been cool if he died from like, you know, the pranks in Home Alone or something. That would have been like a good way to go out.
Right.
You know?
Hot Wheels.
Yeah. We're going to do a Mount Rushmore of John Hughes movies.
Yes. John Hughes. What?
Today's Rushmore is John Hughes.
Yeah.
Love this guy.
Me too.
As we just talked about, his movies make me feel good.
Uh-huh.
They have relatable characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just feels real.
Yeah.
And these movies are my top 4 and
Yep.
your top 4.
Yep.
However, I just want to say this.
Huh.
This is the most difficult Rushmore that I've ever had to do
Oh, yeah.
because a lot of Rushmores, you're like, oh, this is going to be hard. But then when you put your 4, you're like, you know what? I feel pretty good about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel good about my list because there's so many of my honorable mentions that could be in my Rushmore.
Okay.
I am
get that.
pretty confident in my top 2, but 3 and 4, I think I could have replaced with a lot. And we'll talk about that when we get to honorable mentions. But
Okay. Gotcha.
you got your list?
I got it right here.
As part of Rushmore,
Uh-huh.
it's like Mount Rushmore, but we rank them.
Right.
The mountain is not ranked.
No.
You don't
not.
see numbers up on there.
No, even though George Washington is first
That's so
from left to
true.
right. But
Chronologically,
yeah,
he's number 1. Yeah.
but I think Lincoln is far right.
I don't. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like where they're positioned.
So, yeah, where they're positioned. So it's like he's 4th, but in no way he's worse than at least 2 of them.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so what we're doing is these are our top 4 on our Mount Rushmore, but we are ranking them.
Yep.
And they're our personal rankings. We're not necessarily saying like these are the best films. These are just our personal, like, if we only had 4 to watch, which order would we watch those 4?
Ooh, yeah.
You know?
That's a good way to put it.
So, number 4,
Let me change mine.
John Hughes. Which movie do you have?
Number 4. Man, I battle with number 4 too.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with the more familiar one.
Okay.
Dennis the Menace
Dennis the Menace.
with Walter Matthau.
Holy crap. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember going to the
is
theater with my grandmother. and
Is that
watched
the one that you quote Martha?
Oh, yeah.
The in the attic?
Martha, where are the GD garden lanterns?
Martha, where are the GD garden lanterns?
What a weird quote.
Random. So random.
Martha, where are the GD? Dude, Christopher Lloyd in that movie
Oh, my gosh.
as the homeless guy with the
Yup.
beans.
So funny.
Gosh, I want to watch that movie now.
Yeah.
So
I
I
haven't seen it in a
also
while.
I didn't realize John Hughes was a part of that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just so people don't lose their mind, this is not necessarily one of the movies he directed. It's like it was John Hughes involved. That's the
exactly.
the whole thing.
That movie is 30 years old, by the way.
Gosh, what a great. I mean, some of the iconic things it's been probably 20 years since I've seen it, so maybe you need to help me. But
Yeah.
one of my iconic,
I haven't seen it
the
in a
thing
while
I
either.
remember the most is the marshmallow. Like he's roasting the marshmallow and he like lets it loose and
Yeah.
hits him on the forehead. Who does it? Does it
It's
hit
still
him
on fire.
on the forehead or
Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Wilson.
hits
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson on the forehead? Yeah.
Kids are kids. You have to roll with the punches. You have to expect the unexpected.
Oh,
He just kind of looks at the camera like, he's just so fed up. Actually, the funny thing is, the director of that movie, Nick Castle, a.k.a. Michael Myers.
really? That's amazing.
Yes. That's it.
Wow. So wait, the director is the actor
Is that
of
Michael Myers
wow.
and Halloween?
That is a fun fact.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I totally forgot about
Okay.
that too.
Okay,
Yep.
my number 4
Huh.
is a movie called Uncle Buck.
Oh yes.
Because
John Candy.
well, first and foremost, the intro to this episode was the song that plays at the end of the movie.
That's right.
And another thing I would say about John Hughes is the soundtracks were everything.
Oh, dude.
Like,
Well,
dude,
speaking of like, because you and I are musicians.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the music makes the movie.
totally.
Like Jurassic Park is a great movie, but without that soundtrack, not as good.
Yeah, and it's like it not only adds energy, it actually sets the tone of
Yeah.
the movie. Because
Yep.
like Jurassic Park, you need epicness from the dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it's
Exactly.
the same with like Superman and whatnot. But like
Yeah.
John Hughes has a tone, like his movies have a tone, and so he always has these like really quirky songs in the movies that just totally set the tone.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
also, I always like this movie because I literally have an Uncle Bucky. We never called him Uncle Buck, but
Oh, really?
his name is
Oh, okay.
Bucky. So I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
I have an Uncle Bucky.
That's awesome.
He's not anything like John Candy's character.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Which was another thing I was going to say is John Hughes repeats actors.
Mm-hmm.
You've got John Candy, who's in all
From
kind
the Chicago area.
yeah. You've got John Candy, who's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Molly Ringwald's in a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Michael Hall is in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Which you could also argue Anthony Michael Hall made being a nerd cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. Yeah.
Because he was a total nerd, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, through these movies, he became kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
but transition.
Some of my favorite parts from Uncle Buck, you probably got some too,
Mhm.
but I wrote some down. The mole scene where he's visiting the vice principal or whatever,
Yeah.
and he sees the mole in her face, and he introduces himself. He's like, "Buck melanoma." I'm
Dude.
what's the girl's name?
Oh yeah, Molly.
Yeah, I'm a Buck Melatonin. Molly Russell's wart. Not the wart. I'm the wart. She's my tumor. And then, of course, you got like the huge pancake that he makes for
Oh yeah,
the breakfast.
Epic.
And he's got that big snow shovel.
yeah.
It's like, this is how you separate the men from the boys.
I forgot about that. Yes, so good.
Pooter the clown, where he punches the clown.
Oh yeah. Was his name Pooter?
Pooter. Yeah.
Wow.
Get in your mouse and get out of here.
Hey, you, let me tell you something, you low-life, lying, four-flushes shit.
One of my favorite parts about this whole movie, and it happens in a lot of John Hughes movies,
Right.
is the transformation of character. So like,
Yeah.
or the growth of a character.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of like this,
Sure.
kind of loser at
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
But as he protects the daughter, you know, his niece,
Mm-hmm.
he becomes a good man. And
Yep.
that scene where he goes to like interrupt her with the dude, and he's like, you want to see my hatchet? You know what I'm talking about? He's threatening him, and he's like,
Yeah.
you know, I just, you know, you never know what you might need. Take off a little of the shoulder,
Right.
the elbow,
Yeah.
shave a little meat off the kneecaps.
Yeah, man. As a younger person watching that, I was like, man, he's kind of a psycho right now.
It's awesome. Anyway, that's my number 4.
Nice.
Number 3, Nate, what you got?
Vacation. Wally World.
I was going to say the original Vacation,
Mhm.
National Lampoons.
Wally.
Gosh, that movie.
So many good lines in there too. Just like the Clark Griswold, just like the way
Such a good character.
he doesn't even have to say anything. He's like a good physical comedy actor.
Yeah.
And like the way when you go like right out the gate when they go get their new car,
Yeah.
and he's like, "No, I'm not settling for this." It's like metallic P, and he's like, and they crush their original car and they bring it back out to him. He's like, "Now get Mr. Griswold's car," and he's like, "Come on, Russ, we're going." And he reaches for the handle, and he's like, and then he looks at the car and it's just been flattened, and he doesn't even notice it until he reaches for the handle. Just like stuff like that. It's like little stuff. And
The humor.
oh gosh,
So good.
yeah, it's so funny.
That's another thing I didn't even mention. John Hughes' sense of humor is phenomenal.
so good. Yeah, and he knew the right person to play that part.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want this guy, I want this girl, whatever.
Yeah.
And he nailed it.
Yeah.
Just like the casting,
I love that
so good.
our lists have already been different.
Oh yeah,
I
for
love,
sure.
I love that.
Yep.
Anything else that you would say with Vacation? Or?
Oh, when he hits the road closure,
Yeah.
it's like when they put road close signs up, they put up signs like this one. Ah! And then he just jumps, and then he's like, "Come here, Russ." He's like, "Man, Dad, you must have cleared like 50 yards in it." He's like, "Nothing to be proud of, Russ." 50 yards. He just makes that switch.
Gee, Dad, you must have jumped this thing about 50 yards.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty. 50 yards.
Which again is like
So good.
super freaking relatable as a character.
Yeah.
You know, like that's totally what a dad would be
Yep.
thinking. Like, don't be impressed, son.
Yeah,
But when
right.
his son turns away, he's like, yeah, 50 yards. That's pretty, that's
It's
pretty.
like my son's right. My son is actually at that age where it's like, you know, he doesn't want to hang around dad or
Yeah.
whatever. But then he like compliments you and you're just like,
Yeah.
50 yards.
All right. My number 3 is a movie called not 14, not 15,
Oh.
not 17, 16 Candles.
Mm-hmm.
Molly. I love that.
Molly McButter.
This was John Hughes' directorial debut.
Really?
was 16 Candles.
He came out the gate
Yeah.
swinging.
And like you said, Molly Ringwald, I think, represents a much bigger thing than just like, because she was just not the typical female lead
No.
at all.
Nope.
Like, she's very unique looking.
Yep.
Her character is very like honest and like strong, and it's so different.
It's like cute, but not like hot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh, she's cute, but that was never like the lead role, especially back in those days.
And her character was very complex. What it was just so well done.
Yep.
And just to me, this is maybe the best teen movie
Yeah.
because again, you felt like you knew like some of the stuff. It's like I know exactly what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I've
for
been
sure.
in these situations. I know what it's like, these social things, and you feel like high school is forever.
Oh,
You just feel like high school is like,
Yep.
I die here.
Yeah.
You know, like I have peaked, and some people do peak in high school, but
for sure.
I just think it did well. And like, I also thought about like in this movie, if kids today try to watch, or even not kids, I mean, even Gen Z try to watch this movie, it's like, they're not going to understand it because the 80s were different.
Yeah.
Like this movie was like, somewhat subtly, there was like racial and cultural differences, but
Yeah.
they did it in a way where it made you laugh. Like,
Oh, yeah.
people found it funny.
Yep. For sure.
There was no hate to it. It was just like
No.
and things like
Because everybody understood it.
they understood.
That's why.
Yeah. And then also like there's a lot of note passing in this movie,
Oh yeah.
and that's a thing of the past.
Oh yeah.
But texting, like note passing was the original texting.
Done in an instant. Yeah.
I used to,
For sure.
dude, even with my friends, like dude friends,
Yeah.
we would pass notes in class, not like a long whatever, but
That's how I got my first girlfriend.
really?
Oh yeah. Passed the note to her. Folks,
Do you
show.
love me? Do you want to be my friend?
Second grade,
Well,
bro.
if you do, well, then don't be afraid to take me by the hand.
Two things about that note. I was proud of it because I wrote it
Yeah.
and sent it to her.
Yeah.
But the other thing was I had torn off like from another sheet of paper or whatever. And it was just all oblong. So I was like writing crooked and stuff.
Yeah.
Because trying to fit it into the paper.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But-
So if you want to, kind of feel what it's really like to be a teenager, like this movie just nails it. I just love this movie. I love
For
the
sure.
soundtrack. I love
So many personalities.
I love the rawness of it. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure some of these things make you, like, looking back, it makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's like, dude, that's what the 80s were.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to deal with that.
For sure.
Like, that's just what it was, and I don't know, you just kind of love the rawness of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Number 2, John Hughes,
Repeat. Uncle Buck
Uncle Buck.
is my number 2.
Well, I shared most of my stuff from Uncle Buck.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have?
Let's see here. There's quite a few things. Yeah, Molly Russell's work. God, so good.
Buck melanoma.
Oh, his back and forth with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, the like quick banter.
The quick banter, yeah. Gosh, I wish I remember half of that, but it's so fast and there's so much to
It's
it.
so funny.
Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
On a rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Where's your wife?
Don't have one.
How come?
It's a long story.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't. It's an even longer story.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
But yeah, I think Macaulay was like 6
Wow.
at the time. Maybe even younger. He was
Wow.
really, really young.
Because that's
During
pre
that movie.
Yeah, that's pre Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that was his first big role.
Wow.
And him just going back and forth with John Candy. I can't even imagine being in Macaulay's shoes and just going back and forth with this
Legend.
big man and just so funny. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm like, put my feet in his shoes, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing I just, like I said earlier, that I remember the most is the evolution of his character. He went from like this guy that you're like, he's a loser, to a guy that you truly respect because he's a good person.
Yeah.
And he truly comes, Like
You're pulling for him.
when the hard thing is there and he needs to do the right thing and be there for his niece, he does.
Oh yeah,
He shows up
for sure.
and like it makes you just like
She wants nothing to do with him.
yeah.
At first.
But when everything fell apart,
Yep.
she wanted Uncle Buck. And
Yep.
and he was there.
He was there.
It's just so good.
Boom.
So good.
Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah. So my number 2.
Yes.
My number 2, here's a hint. Bacon and eggs, pancakes, The Breakfast Club.
Oh, nice.
Man alive.
I don't know why that took me so long.
So The Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Again, soundtrack. Again, real characters.
Yep.
My favorite quote that I've quoted for a very long time is, I might misquote it, but the gist is, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it.
I like that.
And it's so true, man. Like,
Yeah.
we're all a bunch of weirdos. It's just some
Yeah.
of us have perfected the outside a little bit more. And that was all during the scene where they were like doing this heart to heart and sharing everything. And that whole scene was improvised. Have you seen Breakfast Club?
It's been a while though.
That whole scene where they're like sharing their dark secrets,
Oh.
all improvised.
Oh wow. Dang.
What's the guy's name? I think it might be Emilio.
Emilio.
Emilio!
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that says that quote.
Oh, okay.
It's like, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it. And it's like,
Wow.
And
A real moment.
16 Candles and Breakfast Club is one of those things where you're like, you know, as a teenager and your early 20s, man, you're really just trying to find yourself.
Yeah. Oh,
And
for sure.
And this movie kind of helped illustrate what it's like to go through that. You know, it's tough. Like being
Yeah.
a teenager and the dating scene and, you know, the conflict with your mom and dad. It's like you love them, but it's like, I'm trying to break out of this piece.
Yeah.
You know, like,
For sure.
I got to be an adult.
Yeah.
And like, there's just a lot of variables, and I don't know. They just did
Yeah.
such a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
You talk about multiple personalities in that film, big time.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the things you had to deal with, and you still deal with when you're a teenager. You know, it's just like, am I supposed to be like this?
Yeah.
Should I just keep being like this or whatever? So you just got to find your identity and
yeah,
you know, find your place in this world. Michael W. Smith.
My place in this world.
But it's tough to deal with because you want to be like this person, but you can't be like that person.
yeah,
But you know, you don't come to that realization till, you know, later in life. Some
Yeah.
people find it early, but
and this is, I don't know, this is something like, maybe I'll hold this until I find out your number one, because I'll say a summary of another thing that I like about his movies. But one of my favorite parts is you usually see it in clips, but in the movie, it's where they're during their downtime, they're all dancing on that little rail. There's like a little banister,
yeah.
and they're like, you know, dancing, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is just. it's
were they in a
just-
library?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a good movie. If you've never seen Breakfast Club,
I
like,
need to watch it again.
oh my gosh, what a great movie.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Really good.
time for
Oh boy.
I wonder if we have the same. I don't
think we do.
Okay.
I don't think we do.
Okay. That was pretty that's pretty confident.
Right.
Nathan Cooley, what is your number one
Numero
John Hughes movie?
uno. The Great Outdoors.
The Great. God, that movie's awesome.
John Candy has taken both pole positions.
Wow, dude.
Oh,
Such a good movie.
we just recently watched that at the beach,
Yeah.
and I just like we had done that before and watched that movie, but it had been a couple of years, and I just randomly like started watching it, and like people started coming out of their bedrooms and like sat down in the living room,
Yeah,
we all watched it,
Yeah.
you know, eventually, which I thought was pretty cool. But That movie is so
It's
good.
so good.
And it's about, family on vacation, which is what we were doing right at that time. So it kind of fell in sync with that. So, but
Which that is maybe another thing about John Hughes is that he uses everyday life.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's like people go on vacation.
Just like, how do I relate to these people?
Yeah.
Or to people in general.
People get it.
Yeah.
Like we've
For
been
sure.
like he appeals to a very broad
Mm-hmm.
audience.
We all got that family member that's way outspoken when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that was Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment of that one?
Yeah. Well, actually, me and my brother were actually quoting that the other day. And because we were out, where were we at? We were just swimming in the pool or whatever. And we were talking about the lake. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to name my boat Suck My Wake. Which is so hilarious, bro. That's the best boat name ever.
Now, if you meet any friends, bring them back. We'll give them a ride and suck my wake. You got it in neutral. Okay. You got it. It's in neutral. You got to put it.
Somebody has to have it.
Oh, they have to.
And
There's no way.
if not, I'm going to.
Yeah.
One day.
They have to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
That movie's awesome.
Yeah, we'll meet you back here at dinner and tell your friends if they want to ride in a boat and we can ride and suck my wake. And when they were going to grill out, he's like, yeah, put a couple of burgers on, some hot dogs. And he's like, oh, Chet, what's his last name?
His
I think
name
it's
is Chet Ripley.
Chet Ripley, that's it.
It's John Candy's character.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Chet Ripley. No relative of mine is going to cook hot dogs and hamburgers. You know what hamburgers and hot dogs are made of, huh? Lips and assholes. And John Candy's like, yeah, I could relate to eating lips and assholes or something like that. That's probably not the quote.
God, that's a good one.
And he's like, and he tries like to kiss his wife or whatever. I think he does. And he's like, he's at the grill and he's got the poker or whatever. And like, just trying to,
I think
acting like
one of the
hit
things
him.
that I remember the most about that movie is the raccoon scene.
Oh,
Or
gosh.
scenes where they're always showing the raccoons getting into the
They're
trash.
subtitled.
They're subtitled, yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. So good.
Oh, look, rocks on trash cans. That'll work. Knock it over.
All right. My number one.
And the bald-headed bear.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Just the bears in general. Oh, my gosh. All right. My number one.
Mm-hmm.
My number one John Hughes movie.
Let's hear it.
I had no doubt about this one. This
Yeah.
is the one I was supremely confident in. It's a sick kid. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Good one. That's a good one.
Life moves pretty fast.
You don't stop.
If you don't stop and look
once in a
around
while,
every once in a while,
you could miss it.
you could miss it.
Mm.
Good quote, Ferris.
Yeah.
I think I like this movie because
Bueller.
Bueller. Every time I quoted that the other day on a conference call, I asked
Nice.
everybody for feedback and everyone was silent. And I was like, Bueller, Bueller, and like half laughed.
Yeah.
The other
Nice.
probably had no idea what I was doing.
Probably.
I think the thing about that movie is every time I called out sick, I watched that movie.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. Makes
There's
sense.
something about that guy that you just kind of wanted to be him.
Oh, yeah.
He just had this like confidence. Nothing
Through
ever.
the roof.
He didn't have the same struggles as I did.
No.
You know, and he just like he just had such an adventure that whole movie. Like,
Yep.
And then the parade scene at the end is
Chicago.
just
Yeah.
Everything in that movie is such a like display of Chicago.
Oh yeah,
It's so
Big
cool.
time.
So cool.
Yep.
But I actually have some fun facts of that
Yeah,
movie.
let's hear it.
But before the fun facts, I want to say character-wise, Ed Rooney, the principal,
Oh my gosh,
so funny.
hilarious.
And then Grace, the secretary or whatever she was.
Yeah.
This is my favorite kid, or my favorite kid. It's my favorite part. Ed Rooney goes, I don't trust this kid any further than I can throw him. And Grace goes, well, with your bad knee, Ed, you shouldn't throw anybody. It's true.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And then what was the quote where she's like, talks about how great she is, or he is. She's like, he's a really righteous dude.
Oh yeah, righteous dude.
So some
Forgot about that one.
fun facts about Ferris Bueller is the dad and mom got married in real life and had a family.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They ended up getting divorced later, but like
Yeah.
when you watch that movie, it's
Hollywood
like
couple.
they
Bound
actually
to happen.
were a couple.
Wow.
It's a fun fact.
That's kind of awesome.
Bueller, Mr. Ben Stein. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
this was cool. He was not supposed to be in the movie. He was supposed to do an overdub and just be the teacher.
Oh.
But the kids, actors,
Yeah.
they were laughing so much at his improvisation because he was improving.
Oh, okay.
And, improvisation, yeah.
Yeah.
He was improving. And he was so funny that they're like, we got to put him in the movie. And so
Nice.
then they put his face on the movie.
So he was just going to have, they were going to be in the class, but you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
That was the,
Because he's like a real economist, like
yeah.
real smart guy.
Yeah.
And so he was just ad-libbing these really complex ideas.
Wow.
But they thought it was so funny that
Yeah.
he was so just dull and whatever.
Monotone,
That
bro.
they put him in.
So
And
good.
that's like one of the best parts of that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey, which Matthew Broderick is Ferris,
Yeah.
and Jennifer Grey is his sister.
Right.
They actually got together, got engaged, but they called it off.
Oh, wow.
But they were during the movie. They were already engaged.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Yeah. Isn't that
During the movie?
during the movie?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Another fun fact: the license plate abbreviations on most of the cars were call outs to other movies. You knew this?
I knew that. That's pretty cool.
Katie's car was VCTN for vacation. Jeannie's car was TBC, the Breakfast Club. Tom's was M Mom for Mr. Mom.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rooney's was F4 BDO, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then lastly, I don't know if I can find this picture, but I'll try. The Ferris Bueller house was a real house, and I have been to it.
Oh, yeah. Out in LA, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was in Long Island.
Okay.
I looked up the address.
Long Island? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
JT meant to say Long Beach in California.
I looked up the address, went there, saw the house, and I was like, oh my God, dude.
That's awesome.
I think the paint job is different now. Like maybe
Yeah.
the shutters are different color, but
Sure.
it was the Ferris Bueller house. And I was like,
Wow.
wow.
All right.
You know?
Dang.
Yeah, dude, this movie, I just, every time this movie's on, I'm going to watch it. Every single time.
No,
It just,
it's a good one.
just makes me so happy.
Classic.
And then obviously the Ferrari scenes
Oh my gosh.
where they're doing that. And then he's like, your dad, my dad's going to know that we drove his car because of the odometer. He's like, no, we can just roll it back. We'll come back in reverse. So great. Anyway,
False. Can't do that.
honorable mentions, my friend.
Yes.
I'll go first.
All right.
This is where I was talking about. I struggle because I love all these movies.
Yeah.
Weird Science. Weird Science
Also mine.
almost made my entire Rushmore. I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's where they create their fantasy woman. Like
Right.
it's like Frankenstein, but they create a woman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. is in that movie, by the way. Weird Science.
Oh, wow. That's right.
In the
Totally
mall.
forgot about that. Dude, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Such a good movie. Home Alone.
Nice.
National
Obviously.
Lampoons. Both of them.
Yeah.
Vacation and Christmas Vacation.
Okay. Sweet.
Pretty in Pink. Also good.
Yeah.
Very similar to 16 Candles.
Right.
And then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, dude.
My favorite quote of that whole movie, again, I'm paraphrasing, but John Candy, dude. They're on the plane, and he's like, "Do you remember the character's name?" Oh goodness, what's his
Man, I
name?
can't. I don't remember.
Planes, trains, automobiles. Again, this is Thanksgiving, so he's like Christmas, Thanksgiving, being a teenager, going on vacation. These are all things that human beings are very familiar with. You know what I mean? Dale Griffith is his.
Who's John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dale Griffith. So he's on the plane. He's on the plane and he sits next to Steve Martin. And he goes, Dale Griffith, director of sales. He's like, director of sales, shower curtain ring division. Like, you sell shower curtain rings.
So specific.
So specific. Director of sales, shower curtain ring division.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that movie's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what about you?
A couple of repeaters. Planes, Trains, definitely. Weird Science. Mr. Mom. Breakfast Club.
Classic.
Bueller. Flubber. And Beethoven.
Nice. I love Beethoven.
Mhm.
That's such a good movie.
I remember liking, obviously, like the first one. I remember watching the second one, and the girl who played in that is obviously a little bit older, and like she's a teenager, and then there's like a love story with that.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with my friend Ryan, and he was like, "Oh, love story between teens. You want to watch this?" I was like, "Huh, no." And he's like, he turns it off. I've never seen it. I've only seen the first one.
That's awesome.
So that's why I stopped watching it, because I was like,
I
well,
love
if
that.
Ryan's not going to watch it, I'm not going to watch it.
I love that movie.
He's an older influence anyway. Of course, not all, but
Vacations.
2 Home Alones.
Oh,
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the vacations are pretty good, even though some of them are better than others.
yeah.
But original Vacation and obviously Christmas Vacation, just top notch. And Vegas was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's all. Yeah, that's it.
Well, like I said, in summary, I love John Hughes so much because
Mm-hmm.
he makes me feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I watch the stuff, all of his stuff is so familiar. Like I said, Christmas, Thanksgiving, vacations,
Yeah.
being a teenager, like all this stuff, you totally relate. It's real. The dialogue is
Yeah.
real.
Mm-hmm.
The music is great. It's just the evolution of characters. You root for them. It's just beautiful
For
stories.
sure.
He's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I was going to do a whole segment on this, but we took up the whole episode. So I'm going to go through it really quickly
All right.
because this was an 80s themed whatever,
Oh, okay.
But these are 10 things that we remember from the 80s that hardly exist today.
Oh,
You ready for this?
sure.
Number 1, phone books.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You
I
seen
remember the Atlanta phone book back in the day. There was 4 of them,
Yeah, I would imagine.
and that was in the early 90s.
Along with phone books, payphones.
Mm.
Have you used a payphone?
I have.
I have too. My mom used to carry.
Back in the day.
My mom used to carry 2 quarters
Oh, nice.
always,
Yeah.
just in case of an emergency.
For the phone. Yep. For sure.
Water beds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my Uncle Kelly used to have a water bed,
Yeah.
and
I had a friend that had a waterbed.
I don't understand it, but anyway,
No.
obviously,
When I first laid in one, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But I'm just like, I can't stay in this bed. I got to get out of here. And it's hard to get out of, too.
watching music videos on MTV,
Ooh.
video rentals,
Yes.
Cabbage Patch Dolls. I didn't have one, but
Oh, my gosh.
definitely I remember them.
Yeah. I didn't
Uh,
have them either.
indoor smoking.
Yeah.
Kind of wish that was
McDonald's
the
had a no smoking section when I
Yeah.
was a teenager.
thing. And then finally,
So weird.
some of these are like they were popular for a long time, like movie rental and shopping malls. But
Yeah.
paper maps, man,
Oh, yeah.
woo!
Yep.
Using a paper map like that
yeah.
was
From Tommy Boy. This is the border of Rhode Island, which is what we're in. 22 miles away. Get yourself a new map. I see you're picking up your sarcasm.
well, dude. This has been one of my favorites. I'm going to enjoy editing it, and I'm going to enjoy
Yeah.
listening to it because it's just one of my favorite subjects. John
I love it.
Hughes. Maybe I can talk my wife into watching John Hughes movies this week.
Love you, John Hughes. It's the Twerk Ethics Show. It's the Twerk Ethics